Good morning. Hi, this is Dan. I wanted to do this presentation online versus sending an email because this is actually much easier to do with not, without, typos and all that kind of stuff because it is quite a bit of information. And it's based on what we talked about when we had our three-way meeting on the phone. I want to just kind of go back to kind of this whole tokenization, idea, and I think, and I know it's definitely the future. And if we could find a great application, the sky is the limit, in my opinion. And it really goes back to kind of what you were talking about, Jenelle, where you have some issues with, I guess it's pre-planning funerals and how you might have to give some of that money back. And I don't fully understand your business, but I know that when I think about doing my own pre-planned, funeral as it relates to being cremated and having all the remains sent back to Massachusetts and all of that, I definitely would want to have that on a blockchain, on a distributed blockchain ledger versus on a funeral home's ledger, whether it's yours or someone else. And this is not anything against you personally or the industry personally. It's more of, it is so easy for, I would think, for me to say, okay, I'm paying for A, B, C, and D, and in the end, I only get A and B because all that information is on your end and not on, a public end where someone can go back and say, okay, this is what was agreed upon. And I think in reverse, this is, and I'm talking to you, Jenelle, this is kind of maybe what you're going through where, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably am wrong, but, so let's say Mrs. Jones comes in and she pre-plans her funeral. She pays 15 grand, for example, for A, B, C, D, E, and F. And then when she passes on, a family member or two come in and they want to reduce that, so she only gets A, B, C, and D, and then they want the 5 grand back or whatever because now it's only a $10,000 package versus the 15 that she chose when she signed the agreement. And I think if that information is on the blockchain and you can go back and say, no, this is what she wanted and blah blah blah, I don't know if that solves the problem, but I think if we put our heads together we could come up with a solution that might prevent that, because I know as a business owner I would hate to give back money that was deposited into my account and for whatever reason, especially if I'm dealing with, someone new, not the original, client. So I just wanted to kind of talk about that and see if there's a chance we could have future conversations to see if we can find a way to help you solve that issue. So I want to talk about tokens. And currently, there's pretty much 2 different types of tokens that we can create and mint. The first is utility tokens, and the second is security tokens. And I want to talk about security tokens first, because that's the real deal when you're talking about tokens. A security token is a token kind of like a share in a business. A business makes shares available to, potential investors, and those shares represent ownership. They could represent profit sharing. They could present, dividends, a lot of regulations, lawyers. If you mess up, you're talking about many dollars in fines and possibly even jail time if you're kind of like a repeat offender, if you will, or if you do something that's, knowingly, you're trying to dupe, the SEC. So when you think of security tokens, that is the real deal. Now, when you're talking utility tokens, those tokens are really just a token that says, okay, if I have this token, now I can use that token to buy this, or I have access to this. There's no talk about profit sharing. You're not an owner of a company or part owner. You're not receiving any type of dividends. If the company does really, really well, those utility tokens do not raise in value in any form or fashion. It's just you have a token that allows the token holder to get these benefits from the company. And what I'm thinking is possibly you could have tokens that represents a pre-planned funeral number. You buy a $5,000 token that now this this client down the road has a $5,000 token that they can use towards a funeral when that time comes, whether it's they use it on themselves or someone else. So that's the big difference between utility tokens and security tokens. And currently I am working with this company here, EvoSpec, here in the Valley. We were actually talking about raising money for the business with security tokens and giving the security token owners, a piece of the business. They would be fractional owners of the business. And again, a lot of legal ramifications, lots of disclosures. They have to open up their books and show, this is what we're offering. This is the potential. These are the risks. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And that does have some value, but does it equal the risk that goes along with it? And after a ton of meetings, we've decided that maybe a utility token might be the way to go. Because now we can offer their client, because they have a great client base. All their clients are spending $120,000 to have a Porsche engine rebuilt. So these guys, and possibly gals, I don't know if it's, both, but certainly more guys than gals, they have a lot of money. And what we're thinking is with the utility tokens, now they can buy these tokens, and these tokens could represent discounts for future work, because these Porsche owners don't just do one project and that's it. They do multiple. And so we're thinking about developing and creating and minting utility tokens at, let's say, $10,000 per token. But now those tokens can be used to purchase stuff from EvoSpec at a discount, keeps them as a client, build some kind of a relationship, and then those tokens can be put on a token bulletin board. And if they want to, they being the token holder, if they want to sell their token peer-to-peer to someone else, we can just make that available on a token bulletin board, and we just facilitate A and B to exchange tokens. So that's a possibility too. And then with John's DBC business, I've been talking to Tobias about offering their wholesale clients, for example, who come back and buy all the time, utility tokens that would give them discounts, better discounts that they're getting now, because these wholesale clients buy all the time. And this might be a great way to bring funds into the business to fund, expansion or new equipment or whatever. And in return, the token holders, the wholesalers, they get the benefit of getting a better deal moving forward as they continue to buy products. So that's kind of, where I see tokens making a little sense without all the headaches of dealing with a true security token. So, I'm thinking going back to, funeral homes and Jenelle and Candee, you're now in the business, I guess, can we think about potentially utilizing utility tokens to solve some of these issues that you're having with prepaid planned funerals? And again, I could be totally way off track here, but that's what I'm hearing. And I don't know too much about, I don't know anything about the funeral home business, but I think that could make some sense. So I just wanted to do this presentation for you and see if we can maybe chat again and see if there's anything that we can start talking about that might make some sense. Thank you.